It's so much a pleasure to see all of you here. And I watch your show. It's very impressive. And I just want to have your impression of this particular tour in China, the Great Bay Area and all this high tech, whatever. We will start with ladies, with Vanessa. What's your impression as a European? How do you think of this visit and this relate to Europe as you know it? Yeah.
I really believe that it's something that, from a European perspective, we should take a lesson on how to make the life of rural people better, leveraging from technology as
Any particular company or particular item or particular project you have seen that impressed you most as a European?
There were quite a few. I work on digital transformation and AI. So for me, the possibility to be within Tencent, one of the top tech companies in the world, was quite impressive. And I think it's a lesson that even our European tech companies should have as well and learn from China.
So, Julia, I just came back from St. Petersburg, and you are from Russia. You spent 6 years in St. Petersburg. So, as a Russian, how do you think of whatever China's progress in Shenzhen and in AI, in all this stuff, compared with Russia, say, for instance? Yeah.
All right. So I grew up myself in the Asian part of Russia. So it's always felt like a mix of Russian historical culture, but also Asian influence. So I came to China with the purpose of seeing for myself what China is, not only to have a media knowledge or information, but to see for myself from a human perspective, from an urban perspective, and also from a tech perspective, what is happening in the economy and in the tech environment here. What really impressed me is actually the urban planning, how green areas are implemented all around the city, how accessible the city is to all groups of populations, and how technology is integrated in the day-to-day life. It's cashless payment, driverless mobility. So all these projects and initiatives that are implemented in this area, I think, could really be taken as an example to Russian cities, to make them also accessible to all groups of populations, to make them greener, to fight the pollution that is prevalent in some of the Russian cities. But I think it's also a place for collaboration where we could bring experience from different countries and exchange between Portugal, Russia, Brazil, Australia, but also between us all together with China. Yeah.
And I came back from Moscow after a 10-year conference called the International Forum on the Future 2050. So when I got the invitation, I thought Russia is thinking of forward planning, which is true after attending that forum. So China learned this from the Soviet Union, and of course we have adapted to China's conditions. And now China is a leader in planning and have the plan executed, so we can exchange more experiences. So Mimi, you got the first prize. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Actually, this whole idea of Chun Si, village seas, this is very, very attractive, and indeed a lot of audience, me as a judge, also think it's a great idea. Could you elaborate to the Chinese audience this whole idea you have created?
Yeah. Of course, yes. So Chunxi was a digital archive mini program that you can access on WeChat that I thought would allow rural villages to directly upload their culture, experience, food, day-to-day, dance, all into the app to allow users from all across the world to directly access and understand what rural life in China and rural revitalization is. Because so many people know about the big cities, right? But they don't know enough about the rural regions. And the thing that I love so much about the rural parts of China, and I've been so honored to go to so many, is it's so 丰富, you know, it's so rich in culture, and also the people are so closely connected, the communities are very strong, And the best part about it is that they are not left behind. As we see the digitalization and the strong and rapid development of the Greater Bay Area, we see that these urban areas do not just leave these rural areas isolated. They're not disconnected. They're actually directly connected, and they continuously have a ongoing relationship. And so when we were able to actually go to Dongguan, a village in the Greater Bay Area, seeing a monument that honored every generation of that family that lived in that village and the investment that was put into preserving that culture made me think about this app idea, to see how China is actively trying to preserve its culture but also move these rural communities into the future and not isolate them.
I think your idea that indeed, outside China, people have more knowledge of Chinese cities, but far less knowledge of Chinese countryside. And you want to build a connection between the Chinese countryside and outside the world. Wonderful. So, as a Brazilian, what's your impression of your tour, this 7-day intensive program, whatever? What's your overall impression, and what you can do to help, China, Brazil, more developed relations between the two countries?
I think Brazil and China keep saying this to policymakers and governmental people that I meet, both in China and in Brazil. We have a lot of potential to work together. Brazil and China now are living a very special moment in their friendship, in their partnership. We are elevating the level of our strategic partnership. For the past 3 years, we have had state visits with President Xi going to Brazil, President Lula coming here. So part of my personal and professional goals is exactly to help bridge Brazil and China, to bring our peoples together, because by bringing our peoples together, by providing and promoting mutual trust and knowledge, I think we will achieve even greater success in our broader relationship in trade, investments. All of this pass through networks and through people-to-people exchange.
So can we, each of us, say a few words?
I hope that this is just the start, and I hope that I can contribute at least for the improvement and for the connection between the Portuguese-speaking countries as well, along with Pedro in Brazil.
So for me, this program seems like a unique time and place to bring together people from different countries and to bring us together as humans, because no matter where we come from, we share the same humanity exactly. So it's a very good place to be, and I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you.
I think being able to engage in this cross-cultural connection in the past week has been amazing, because my passion is all about telling stories from China, about China, as a Chinese Australian person who didn't spend so much time here but is learning so much. Like you said, the shared humanity is deeply felt. Right now in Rongjiang, in Guizhou, there was a really big flood, and I have been keeping in contact with all my friends out there. And the local government and all the people have been rallying together to, push the mud away and make sure that everything is clean and make sure that everything is safe, most importantly. And I think stories like that are extremely important for people to understand about China, and then to also take home and to take it back to their home countries and to understand how to put a people-centered approach in everything we do.
I think Macau is a place that truly lives in my heart. I've been there twice. I loved it. And I think it's really a meeting place between East and West. We are walking on a street with Cantonese characteristics. Then we turn on a corner and we see a beautiful Portuguese square. This for me is absolutely unbelievable. It's so valuable, the cultural heritage that we have. So I do believe that China has special relations with Portuguese-speaking countries, and that Macau can act truly as this one platform. So this was one of the key things that I loved about this trip. And the most important message that I would like to leave here is that, and sometimes people outside China, they just have such an imagination of China that it's so different. Well, when we come here, we see it's just people like us. We see so many similarities, so many connections with our own cultures in China. And that's why I think it's important for people to come and see the real China, not through media, not through textbook only, but being here is fundamental if you want to understand China, making friends with Chinese people. Chinese people, to be very honest, they are one of the kindest people that I have met in my whole life. It's impressive. So being here just feels like home, to be honest. And because of the similarities, not only because of the differences.
Indeed, thank you very much for these heartwarming and very candid comments, which I think also inspiring for Chinese audience. Indeed, I just came here this afternoon to work as a judge for your show and your projects. I was impressed, and I think the very idea, future close up, tells a lot, which means you can see into the future from Shenzhen, from the Great Bay Area. And in many ways, this whole idea of one is science or high tech for good, very, very important. And I was trying to explain, DeepSeek, difference between DeepSeek and the philosophy in Silicon Valley. The philosophy behind DeepSeek is every village in the world should be able to use AI, not monopolized by tiny number of companies and then huge profits for themselves. So in this way, the Chinese philosophy, whether since ancient time and to modern time, it's consistent. We must work for the people, majority of the Chinese people and people of the world. The other thing is that you mentioned this already, people's life-oriented, people's livelihood-oriented. So that provides so many opportunities for the application of all kinds of apps and AI applications. So that makes Chinese experience very unique and very inspiring to different parts of the world. Indeed, today it's really have to be in China, in Shenzhen, in Shanghai, in many different parts of China, to know how the world is changing so fast. It's changing on a daily basis. And on the whole, it's a change for the better. So this is important. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.